But I'm going to start today with one of the regulars on the AM programme, John Edwards, creator of Wenglish, that kind of English spoken by people in certain part of South Wales which has its own particular character. I found his version of the fairy tale of Cinderella in Wenglish fascinating, and we join in after Cinderella's rags have been transformed by the fairy godmother and she's ready to join her ugly sisters at the ball.
When Cinderella arrived at the ball, who should she see first go off but her lot? They gave her the once-over, all of 'em, but they didn't know of her madam. As she was going in, the prince saw her coming down the steps. "Joe," he said to himself, "there's lucky, a real smasher. I haven't seen her round here before." He asked Cinderella for a dance straightway, and from then on he wouldn't dance with nobody else but her. You could tell he'd taken a real fancy to her, and Cinderella had her work cut out all night to keep up with him and all his fancy steps, but she was having a lovely time just the same. They were just going to start to do the gypsy tango when she heard the clock starting to strike 12. What her fairy godmother told her had nearly gone out of her head, but just in time it all came back to her. She was out of there in 2 shakes, and as she got out to the big front door, sure enough, there were all her swanky clothes gone. And she was back in her rags except for one thing, her lovely little glass slippers. She only had one, though, 'cause she dropped one of 'em in her hurry to get out of there. She was off home then 'cause she didn't want to hang about looking like that. And then she just had time to put supper for the others before they got back from the ball. Next morning there was heaps happening. Blokes from the palace went up and down the whole place, telling everyone that the prince was on his way round to see if he could find the girl who the glass slipper fitted. He'd found the one slipper on the steps after the girl he'd had every dance with had gone off from the ball in a hurry. His messenger said that whoever the slipper fitted would become his bride, 'cause the prince had got it real bad for that girl at the ball. The ugly sisters did their level best to make the slipper fit 'em when their turn came round to try it on, but the prince could see right off that none of them two was the one he was looking for. Fair play. He caught sight of Cinderella, who was hard at it, blackleading the grate, and he made her have a go with the slipper. It fitted her straight off, of course. He was over the moon 'cause he could see, when he'd had a tidy look at Cinderella, that she was the one he'd been searching for. And then, to cap it all, Cinderella took out from her apron pocket the butty to the glass slipper and put it on her other foot. This shook the ugly sisters and their mother rigid. They could see they'd missed a chalk there, but they had to toe the line now and behave themselves from now on. The prince and Cinderella got married the very next day, after he'd asked her how she was fixed, of course. And there was a tea fight for everybody, with a big spread to celebrate the wedding. Cinderella soon got the hang of being a princess and lived as happy as Larry ever after.